Yo, what's going on with y'all? It's your boy NeohXO bringing y'all the Black Clover chapter 281 review. Another good chapter from Tabata, and the stakes just keep raising and rising and keep going up. So starting off this chapter, before we even get into it, make sure you like and subscribe on the video, help out the channel and all that good stuff. Now getting into the chapter, basically it starts off with narration saying basically demons are born from human hatred in the power of the underworld. So now we see where Licht went whenever he basically transformed into his demon form. We see how that kind of happened. This is kind of like a retelling of that or clarification of that. So that is why Licht became one of those things, because Licht had a lot of mana and he was very powerful. Now in this case right here, these two particular demons were two friends and they were royals. So just like Licht, they also had a lot of mana and magical power. So they basically ended up turning against each other and starting to hate each other. That kind of happens when you love someone. Sometimes it just turns into hate. So I really like how they incorporated that into this chapter. Tabata is really good writer, and he actually incorporates a lot of themes into his mangas. So basically we get that from Zenon telling Yuno, it kind of flash cuts, whatever you want to call it, and Zenon is explaining how the Grimburials were the ones who were guarding those ancient demons. Now the Grimburials are pretty much Yuno's bloodline. So Yuno has a bloodline of people who were guarding these demons, and at this point the Grimburials are small in number, if you ask me, because they kind of got taken out by the Dark Triad. So I don't know how many Grimburials are actually left. We might get to see a couple more left, or we might, might be the last one remaining. And from the looks of it, if the Grimburials were always protecting and guarding these demons, then that means Yuno has the same blood as them. So it makes sense to why Yuno is so strong, and that gives me more to go off of, where Yuno is going to be even more strong in the future because of this bloodline that he is a part of, because it seems like most people from his bloodline were just very powerful. And that leads me to think about how powerful was Yuno's father, because it does seem like Yuno's father got taken out rather easily. And the reason I say that is because we got him taken out off screen in the anime. We seen that in a recent anime episode. Yuno's father, obviously a Grimburial, he got taken out by the Dark Triad. So I don't know how strong he was, because we see Yuno now taking on a member of the Dark Triad, that being Zenon. So Yuno is just maybe one of the stronger Grimburials, but that doesn't mean the Grimburials were weak in any sense of the word. He might not even be the strongest one. But I like how they're incorporating the bloodlines into this. So now I'm kind of curious if Asta's bloodline has anything special. But since Yuno and Asta are opposites, Asta's bloodline might not be literally anything special, So Zenon's plan was basically to distract the mages of the Clover Kingdom, and especially Yuno, because Yuno is a Grimburial, so it's in his blood to be able to kind of handle situations with the ancient demons. But since Yuno's fighting off against Zenon, they basically released an ancient demon in the Clover Kingdom. So that is very bad news, because as Zenon stated in this chapter, so many mages are in the Spade Kingdom fighting off against the Dark Triad. And now, how many mages is it going to take to defeat the ancient demon? We know that Lumiere was one man and he defeated an ancient demon long ago. That's basically how the story of Black Clover started, and that's kind of feels in-game Black Clover, honestly. If this was the last arc, which it's not, because we have confirmation of an upcoming arc, but if it was the last arc, it would make sense. Some people were saying they should have saved this arc for last, but it's crazy. But if this isn't the last arc, that means the stakes are going to be even higher in the future. That's the only way you can continue to progress. Or maybe we might have a chill arc after this, who knows. But in game, it got to be wild, looking forward that much ahead. Basically, we got Wizard King Julius back in this chapter. I like Wizard King Julius a lot. I like him in his prime form better, and we actually do get to see his prime form in this chapter. He's he's basically doing his job as the Wizard King and protecting the kingdom. Him and Damnatio are working together. I don't think many people dislike Damnatio anymore, but especially after the anime episodes kind of made him a more likable character. But I remember whenever he was trying to pin the blame on Asta, there were a lot of people who did not actually like Damnatio. But like I said, Damnatio is a good guy. He just has a very stern sense of justice, and he has a very like strict view on balancing and stuff like that. So I mean, he just kind of has his own perspective. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad perspective, just he does what he has to do. He tries to help the Clover Kingdom in his own way, you know. That's just it right there. Now we get to see Kaiser in this chapter doing something. It seems like that the citizens do look up to Kaiser, and the only reason I say that as a kind of the only reason I even mention that is because people in the Black Clover community be clowning on Kaiser, especially after Fugelian punched him in the face and just sent him flying. Ever since then, people been clowning him. But it's good to see Tabata giving characters like Kaiser some screen time and actually showing off what he's actually capable of doing, especially since he is a captain. And you want to keep the captains in high standing with the audience and also with the members of the Clover Kingdom. And Kaiser's doing a decent job, but he's doing basically all that he can do, which is not going to do much against an ancient demon, it appears, which is making me like wonder, how is Mirio able to face off against the ancient demon that she's facing off against? Maybe this one is just like way stronger, in my opinion, because like this one is taking a bunch of people to fight off, but Mirio is like fighting the one where in the Spade like pretty easily, honestly. So basically, while Kaiser's holding off this demon, they got the other Magic Knights who are still in the kingdom evacuating citizens. It's really cool to see them doing their job. We see the king briefly, and the king is kind of, honestly, I can't even take the king serious, honestly, because he's so just goofy. But I mean, I don't blame the man. The man about to get blown to smithereens. And we get to see some characters that we didn't see in a while, like Nebra, and she's doing her thing. It seems like she recovered after the elf arc. You know, she kind of went down bad in that arc. Like they really did her kind of dirty, but at the same time, it helped her character grow. And it's good to see it's good to see the Silva, you know, family doing really good, and all of them are doing better in my opinion. They're more likable ever since the elf arc, but that's just my opinion. You guys can let me know what you think of them in the comments. And they're basically for the whole chapter fighting off against the magic demon. They can't really do much, so then that's when Julius has to come out. He's like, okay, we need to do something. So with the help of Damnatio, they basically can get Julius in his form, in his prime form. So they explain this by he basically aged his body 10 years ahead, but there is a caveat, and that is there's a certain amount of time and a certain amount of power that he's actually able to tap into, which makes sense because Julius is OP. You can't just keep making him broken. Like, oh, I can basically accelerate his body into the future and stuff like that. That's broken, man. So it seems like it didn't even work that well in this chapter. I mean, it was cool to see Julius go into his form briefly, but honestly, whenever he transformed back into his kid form, I don't know about y'all, but my heart stopped. Like, who would have ever thought that Julius would not be able to completely overpower his opponent? He's just a OP powerhouse, and he just was not able to overpower this ancient demon like I expected. When I seen him go prime, I'm like, okay, he's about to go off. But then a couple panels later, he's just back in his kid form, and it's like, what's even going on there? That's crazy, honestly. And you can see the look on his face. He didn't even expect that. So I wish we could have seen Prime Julius fight a little more in this chapter, but I think it was a cool plot twist to actually have him revert back, because that made my heart drop when I seen that. And I was like, dang, the Clover Kingdom is messed up right now. But then what ends up happening, my boy Asta shows up on the scene, and he uses his demon Slayer sword, and basically he kind of disperses the magic that is going on, you know, like the powerful magic. There's a powerful concentration of magic all around this ancient demon, and we see Asta just doing his thing. and he just shows up right on time. He about to have that Wizard King moment, and this is really cool. It's a parallel to Lumiere whenever Lumiere fought against the demon, and now Asta's doing it. And it's crazy because it's kind of symbolic, because I'm gonna really get into that. You see the current Wizard King unable to finish the job, so then Asta has to come in, and he's hopefully the future Wizard King saving the current Wizard King. And it's really cool. It's kind of like a passing of the torch, if you ask me. And at the end of the chapter, we just see Asta doing his thing, and this is his Wizard King moment right here. It's a parallel to Lumiere, because Lumiere had to do the same exact thing. So it's kind of like a rite of passage for a Wizard King. And since Julius was unable to do it, we're gonna have my boy Asta pass the torch to Asta, Wizard King Asta, coming up in the future. And Leeb also, it's really cool to see Leeb, you know, with Asta, really cool character. And we just see Asta say, all right, it's time to do this. He's really confident. He's like saying like he's gonna go into his union mode or whatever, and really fire. So we're gonna see the union mode next chapter, because if the bottom don't show us that union mode next chapter, he's showing us that union mode next chapter. Amazing chapter, amazing into the chapter. And that's about all I have for you guys today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. As always, it's been your boy NeohXO, and I'm out.